Hi, everybody. It's Jason,
And it's Marnie.
and we're together today. Lucky opportunity for us to be in the same room and video. Mind you, we got to wear masks, so I'm not so sure. I'm still having trouble getting used to them, eh?
But I don't mind the masks.
No?
Yeah, no, like I've got my groove with them now.
Well,
So
yours
it's
is kind of
okay.
nicer too.
Yeah, I have like become almost like I don't know, it's exciting because I have different colors and you know.
I got the nice free ones, so.
mm,
So, yeah, Mental Health Week. Today is Wednesday. I kind of feel like a CNN reporter because there's a lot happening in this weekend today in particular. Today is always kind of an emotional day for me. Actually, it's a day we recognize the missing and murdered women, and kind of in our nation, I guess, don't we? It's national, right?
mhm.
Kind of thinking about those, particularly those women who have gone missing or who have been murdered at the hands of violent people. And I guess why it's kind of a day for me is when I find that in my work I encounter too many people that have been touched by this particular issue, and I just reflect upon those individuals who have touched my heart and some of the suffering that they've gone through because of this issue. And I just think what a devastating thing it is for families and for kids.
Mhm.
So we just want to acknowledge that that's important for us to be thinking about that and to be just acknowledging it and wondering about it. I think is most important. That being said, I just kind of modeled what we're supposed to be doing, isn't didn't I? Eh?
Yeah, yep.
Share it, don't numb it. No, is that right?
Name it.
Name it, don't numb it is the theme mental health for the mental health week. And yesterday we really talked about naming it, didn't we?
Mhm.
And focusing on the importance of why it is important for us to acknowledge really how we are feeling and how important it is even to share that with the people that are around us. So today we want to talk a little bit about the numbing part, right? Um,
Yeah, I think it was interesting. We got some feedback from one of our colleagues who said it was interesting to her when we talked about numbing it, and sort of what came to mind for her in terms of how do we numb those feelings that we're not naming. And it made her really think about the kinds of things that she maybe does that she never really interpreted as numbing before, but that it was a way of like pushing that down and not acknowledging the feeling, in the attempt to sort of move forward. And so we were just having more conversation, Jason and I, today about how do we all numb those feelings. And sometimes we're cognizant of the fact that we're numbing them, like we're intentionally not addressing. And then sometimes I think it becomes almost unconscious. It's just a way of sort of maybe almost like a survival mode where instead of acknowledging what's really going on, we're kind of doing something else as a way of not addressing that particular feeling or experience. And in the end, it's becomes a very maladaptive way of coping because I think numbing, if we were to talk about it in a way of distraction, if that was the technique we were using to sort of not address a feeling in that moment, if we're never getting to the feeling, if we're never getting to the experience directly, what are we doing? We're certainly not coping in a way that is replenishing to ourselves. It's almost a way of depleting ourselves further. And I think we don't selectively just numb. If we're numbing completely, whether that's like immersing in that like social media kind of feed, and or if it's Netflix, or if it's, you know, having a glass of wine, or whatever it is that we're doing to avoid sort of being in the moment of that feeling. Everything, I think, is, I mean, it's all about moderation. So things can be good in small amounts, but if that's constantly what we're moving towards to manage, I just think that it becomes a spiral of I don't know, avoidance that isn't healthy, right? We can't avoid everything in an attempt to then think we're managing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's a great way. We can't avoid everything to think that we're actually managing it. You know, when we had this conversation, yeah, the first thing, you know, numbing it, of course, is go to my first mind goes to the substances, right? Because that's what we talk about. But you know, in our conversations there, like you mentioned, there are so many different ways we avoid acknowledging where we are really at. And I liked how you said sometimes that busy work, right? Being obsessed with the need to, you know, make sure your house is spotless all the time and always doing that, or just almost an obsessive behavior towards something is really gives us that power to really not have to acknowledge where we're at.
And if we're doing something like, because distraction can be like a useful coping strategy for sure. But I think we need to look at what are we doing, and is the thing that we're doing to distract us, is it actually causing us more stress or discomfort? Like when I think about, and I'm not on social media, but and I have, that's a whole other topic that we could talk about, but I have lots of friends that, you know, will talk about, you know, scrolling like endlessly on their social media feed, and it's a time suck for sure. Like all of a sudden, boom, like so much time has gone past and you're not even sure what you did, but often they don't leave that device feeling replenished and rejuvenated. They actually feel more depleted. And so I think if what you're doing to distract from or avoid the feeling or the experience is actually not even replenishing you, then really how is that strategy actually, I think it's hurting more than it's helping, right? So I think we need to be really aware of what do we do to numb? What are the things that we do to to avoid addressing directly the feeling or the experience? And if we are using those strategies, are they actually, you know, replenishing us, or are they depleting us? And maybe we need to be more cognizant of when we're using a strategy to sort of you know, distract, that it's something like, you know, going for a walk, or, you know, maybe it is watching an episode of Netflix, but it's not, you know, where, like, I think sometimes when you're watching something, but you're also looking at your email, and you're also like, you're not even in the moment of anything at that time. So then you're just completely zoned out. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with zoning out. I mean, I think we all do that, right? And part of that, there's a natural process of that. But when we're zoning out in order that we never have to look or think or do the things that we need to do, then that becomes an unhealthy, like you said, an unhealthy a way of dealing with. And so that theme of acknowledging where you are is so important. It's so important to take the time to think, to acknowledge, and then to look at what strategies are you using to deal with how you are feeling, and are those strategies, you know, filling you up? Are those strategies not depleting you? I really like that. I really think that's important. It's hard sometimes to think about the things we are doing to keep us healthy as not being the things we need to be doing to keep us healthy, right? And it may be a great strategy, it may be a wonderful thing that you're doing to help you cope, but if it's taking away your ability to actually think and name and do what you need to do to be healthy, then it's not a healthy thing.
Yeah, definitely a lot of awareness that, you know, we need to like really be intentional about. I think an awareness of what we're feeling and what we're experiencing, and then the kinds of strategies that we may be even like not consciously are aware of that we do as a way of moving through those experiences.
This mental health thing is such a so complicated, isn't it? It's kind of like there's so many different layers and so many different avenues and things to look at that you thinking about your mental health, you can get overwhelmed too, I think, right? That's why, it's being that present in that moment. I really like that kind of thinking, because if you're present in the moment, then you're actually experiencing what's happening with you and with those around you. So I think that's what's more important is don't always think about your mental health, but think about your overall health, right? That we talk about that holistic health. That's so important. And part of that is being present in what you're doing at that particular moment so you can enjoy that.
Yeah, and I think I agree, Jason. Like, I think that mindful approach to the day-to-day, like I think we often think of mindfulness of like that means it's a meditative thing that but no, like, you can be mindful at any moment. And I think the more that we train ourselves to be in the moment, as opposed to looking back or looking ahead, but actually an awareness, a body awareness, in that moment, how we're experiencing something, that extension of kindness to ourselves and other people. I think the more we can be in the moment, day to day, moment to moment, the more beneficial that is to our overall mental health and wellness.
So don't numb it, name it.
Yeah.
Yep, I think that's a great thing for us to sort of begin to think about on this Wednesday, May the 5th, going on. Well, anything else?
No, I think that's it for today. So I hope everybody has a nice evening and does something to replenish themselves.
That's right. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.